Good morning, students. I hope you all have gone through the previous video. So we have already started our fourth chapter, and that is theory of supply. Now we will proceed further, but before that we will go through a little bit of revision, and that is of law of supply, because all the other topics are related to this law only. So the law of supply says that other things being equal means they are not changing, and when the price increases or decreases means when the price changes, the quantity supplied is also changing, means when the price was high, the quantity supplied by the producer or by an individual firm will also increase, and when the price of the quantity decreases, the quantity supplied by the producer or by an individual firm also decreases. This is because they want to get maximum profit due to increase in price. So when the price reduces, they cut down their supply and stock their goods so that they can get maximum profit in future time. And the first topic which we are going to study today is market supply schedule. Now, what is market supply schedule? It shows total quantities of the commodity offered for sale by all the individual firm, or we can say by all the producers at different prices in a particular time. This can be understood by the table given below. Now in this table, commodity X has been taken and there are two producers, producer A and producer B. Now when the price of commodity X is rupees 2, the producer A is supplying 10 units and the producer B is supplying 20 units of commodity X. Now market supply will be the sum total of both the units supplied by the producer A and producer B. So it will be 10 plus 20, that will be equals to 30 units. Again, when the price rose to rupees 3, producer A is supplying 20 units of commodity X and producer B is supplying 30 units of commodity X. Now again, we can see market supply is the sum total of quantities supplied by producer A and producer B. So that will be equals to 20 plus 30, which will be 50 units. In the last also we can see that when the price rose to rupees 6, producer A is supplying 50 units of commodity X and producer B is supplying 60 units of commodity X. So market supply will be 50 plus 60, that will be equals to 110. So we all can see that market supply is the sum total of the quantity supplied by producer A and producer B. So this proves the law also, because the law of supply says that when the price increases, the producer want to supply more of the quantities so that he can get maximum profit from it. Now we have the supply curve. Now supply curve is a graphical representation of a supply schedule. Means whatever the table we have taken, we have to represent it in a graph form. The graph shows an individual supply curve. It has a positive slope as it moves upward from left to right. Now in the graph we can see on the y-axis we have taken price and on the x-axis we have taken quantity, because quantity is independent and price is dependent. So that is why we have taken price on y-axis. Now see, when the price was rupees 2, the quantity supplied was 20 units. Again, when the price rose to 3, quantity supplied is 40. When the price was 4, quantity supplied was 60, and so on. So we can clearly make a relation that as the price is increasing, the quantity supplied is also increasing. So that is why it has a positive slope and it is moving upward from left to right. Now we have the market supply curve. Now market supply, I have already explained you all that it is the total quantities of total quantities supplied by all the producers at a particular period of time and at a particular time, at a particular price. Now in this, we all can see there are three graphs. The first graph is the supply curve of seller A, the second is supply curve of seller B, and the third is the market supply curve, that is the sum total of A and B. Now in the first graph we can see that when the price was rupees 2, the quantity supplied was 10, and in the supply curve of seller B, when the price was rupees 2, the quantity supplied was 20 units. Now market supply, when the price was rupees 2, quantity supplied will be equals to 10 plus 20, that is equals to 30. So 20, now when the price is rupees 3, the quantity supplied was 20 units, and when the price was rupees 3 for seller B, the quantity supplied was 30 units. Now in the market supply, we all can see that 20 plus 30, that will be equals to 50. So in the market supply curve, we can see that when the price was rupees 3, the quantity supplied was 50. It is lying between 40 and 60, so it is equals to 50. Now we have the assumptions. The first assumption is price of other related goods should not change. Means if the price of other related goods are changing, then the law of supply is not applicable. It means that price of other related good should not change. It remains constant. Second is technology of production should not change. Means whatever the technology is being used, it should not change. We will not switch over to modern technology. If we are switching to modern technology, then also the law of supply will not hold. The third is cost of factors of production should remain same. Means whatever the factors of production have been used in the production process, it should also not change. If the cost of factors of production are changing, then also the law of supply will not hold. Next is goal of the firm should not change. Goal or aim, or we can say objectives, so that should also not change. If it is changing, then also the law of supply will not hold. And the last is producers do not expect any change in the price of the commodity in near future term. If there is change in the price of the commodity in the future term also, then also the law of supply does not hold. Now the reason for the operation of the law, the first is profit and loss. Now as the price rises, the producers are generally increasing their production. Why? Because they will get higher profit, and when the price is falling in the market, the producer will produce and supply less to avoid losses. They will not supply more of the commodities because they will suffer loss. The second is entry or exit of firm. If the price is increasing, new firms can join the market. Why? Because they will also try to earn maximum profit, and when the price decreases, the firm leave the market. And the last is change in stock. Increase in price, the seller are ready to sell their old stock because they want to sell their old stock first, and when the price of the commodity decreases, sellers would like to increase their stock to avoid losses. Now we have the exceptions. The first one is in case of agricultural goods. So agricultural goods does not apply the law of supply. Why? Because they are more dependent on the natural factors such as floods, natural calamities, etc. The second is perishable goods. So the law of supply does not apply in case of perishable goods also. The next is goods of auction. The law of supply does not apply in the goods of auction because their supply is always limited and fixed. The next is disposal of old stock. When the seller intend to clear off their old stock of goods, they would like to sell more goods by reducing their prices because they want to clear off their old stocks. So the law of supply will not apply. And in case of rare goods also, such as precious metal, rare goods, the law of supply does not apply. Their supply cannot be increased even when the price rise. Now the next topic is change in quantity supplied and change in supply. In this, when quantity supplied changes due to change in price, it is referred as change in quantity supplied. When price rise, quantity supplied rises, and this is called expansion of supply, and opposite is called contraction of supply. Means when the price decreases, the supply also decreases, which is called contraction of supply. When the supply changes due to other factors of production, means except price, if the supply changes due to other factors, it is called the shift of the supply curve. Now students, go through all the topics from your book, get the detailed study